Welcome, and thank you for joining us in this presentation on environmental justice in the City of Santa Ana's General Plan. As part of our General Plan update, we are expanding our focus on the topic of environmental justice. This presentation provides a broad overview regarding what is environmental justice, highlights some of the issues facing our communities, and potential ways to improve conditions for current and future residents. If you would like more information or want to share your ideas, please visit the city's website at www.santa-ana.org/general-plan or contact the city by email at newgeneralplan@santa-ana.org. You may also leave a phone message at 714-667-2781 with prompts in English, Spanish, and Vietnamese. First, we'll briefly explain what environmental justice is and why it is important in Santa Ana. Some communities bear an added burden of pollution and health risks caused by the historical pattern of land use, development, and in some cases discrimination. Environmental justice, also referred to as EJ, seeks to correct this inequitable condition by reducing pollution and increasing public investments in these communities while also ensuring the community's voice is heard. For example, this photo shows a public park and nearby homes in the Saddleback View neighborhood adjacent to the Santa Ana Freeway. As Southern California grew, so did the traffic and roadways. Now, many live along major streets and freeways where thousands of cars and trucks pass by every day, exposing residents to air pollution. There is a long history of Santa Ana residents actively working towards making their communities safer and more equitable. In 2012, 3 areas along the Santa Ana River were repurposed into small pocket parks located next to bike trails. These improvements brought open space to residents living nearby, such as those in the Artesia Pilar neighborhood. Shown here is Fairview Triangle Park. In 2016, the state of California passed Senate Bill 1000, also known as the Planning for Healthy Communities Act. This legislation introduced environmental justice as a mandatory topic to be included in the city's general plan. What exactly does Senate Bill 1000 require? The legislation requires all cities and counties to update their public policies for disadvantaged communities in order to reduce unique or compounded health risks, promote civil engagement in the public decision-making process, and prioritize improvements and programs in those communities. For example, when given the opportunity to create new parkland, jurisdictions are to give it priority to the needs of those living in environmental justice communities. In Santa Ana, residents from 4 neighborhoods, Pacific Park, Cornerstone Village, Henninger Park, and Madison Park, work together to advocate for the park shown here. The Pacific Electric Park and Community Gardens was built in 2018. Next, we will describe how the City of Santa Ana defines a disadvantaged or environmental justice community. What is an EJ community? A disadvantaged or EJ community includes a combination of conditions. This may include high risk of exposure to pollution in the air, water, or soil, or residents that are burdened by socioeconomic and health issues. These communities are often located near freeways, major roads, or industrial areas. Areas with residents that face the greatest combination of pollution, health, and socioeconomic issues are defined as disadvantaged or environmental justice communities. Some communities may receive less investment from people, businesses, and agencies, leaving residents with fewer resources. All of these factors can lead to unequal opportunities to achieving a healthy and prosperous life. To more accurately and objectively identify the most vulnerable and disadvantaged areas in Santa Ana, the city used a mapping tool from the Environmental Protection Agency called CalEnvironscreen. This tool evaluates the places in California where people live through census tracts, which provide comparable boundaries and information. The CalEnvironscreen tool measures 20 different factors or indicators related to people's exposure to pollution and quality of life. As you can see, a variety of pollution burden and population characteristics are studied. The combined scores of these 20 indicators are turned into a scale that ranks census tracts throughout all of California. This map shows the outcome of this scale that sorts the census tract from lowest to highest level of pollution, socioeconomics, or health burdens. The census tracts ranked in the top 25% in total scoring are considered to be a disadvantaged or environmental justice community. These are shown with values between 75 and 100% in the legend. Dark green identifies the lowest level of burden, and red the highest level of disadvantage. This map shows the combined boundaries of the 17 census tracts in Santa Ana designated as environmental justice communities. In spite of a great deal of progress, the following risk factors remain serious issues in Santa Ana: diesel emissions, air quality, groundwater contamination, cleanup sites, housing burden, linguistic isolation, low birth weight infants, solid waste sites, poverty, and education. This map shows how the 17 EJ census tracts overlap with the city's neighborhood map. As you can see, EJ neighborhoods stretch across Santa Ana, from Riverview West in the northwest corner to Sandpoint at the southern tip. The following neighborhoods, shown here, are partially or entirely within one of these 17 EJ areas. Over the past 3 decades, Santa Ana has made significant progress addressing risk factors affecting our diverse community. Educational attainment has improved significantly since 1990, with a 24% increase in number of adults with high school diplomas. Linguistic isolation has been reduced by 31%. These improvements are due in part to our city's education partnerships with schools and Santa Ana College's continuing education programs. During this time, our communities, the Orange County Health Department, and community-based organizations have also worked proactively to successfully reduce risks associated with teen pregnancy and low birth weight infants. Poverty has also been reduced as increasing numbers of working-class Santa Ana families move into the economic mainstream and new opportunities. While Santa Ana's progress is to be celebrated, there is much more work ahead. Next, what are some of the other issues facing Santa Ana residents? Now that we've identified our environmental justice communities, this section highlights some of the issues facing our residents in these communities. One issue is water quality. In southeast Santa Ana, the shallow groundwater has been contaminated over the years from chemical spills in the industrial areas. If the contamination or plume spreads, it will lead to greater reliance on more costly imported water. The Orange County Water District, in partnership with multiple agencies, is currently enacting plans to address the South Basin plume and prevent the migration of chemicals into drinking water wells. Another issue is potential lead contamination. While lead was largely phased out of gasoline, its legacy remains as a potential contaminant to our soil and water. And as of now, there is no known safe level of exposure to lead. Local organizations and universities have been conducting soil tests since 2016 to better identify the scale and spread of lead contamination in Santa Ana. Land use compatibility can be an issue. Some neighborhoods contend with impacts of living next to industrial uses. Land use compatibility is one of the most widely cited issues by residents. For example, in the Logan, Lacey, and Madison Park neighborhoods, residents have strongly communicated the impacts they face related to air quality, noise, and odor, living near uses such as trash sorting facilities, auto use and salvage businesses, chemical plants, and a crematorium. As is true throughout Southern California, local air quality can be an issue of great concern. And in Santa Ana, residents are taking action. In 2018, members of the Madison Park neighborhood secured a $185,000 community air grant from the Air Resources Board to conduct community-led air quality monitoring and address negative health and environmental consequences of poor air quality. Another factor in community health and wellness is open space. Santa Ana is a very large and dense city with nearly 50 city parks, over 20 recreational facilities, and 8 joint use sites. Still, many residents desire more parks, especially within walking distance of their homes. This can be a challenging and expensive public investment for a built-out city. Fortunately, the city has been busy securing funding and building new parks that serve many of the environmental justice communities. The city obtained a total of $6.2 million in grants for 3 small parks: the 1.6-acre park at Rate and Myrtle, a 0.75-acre park at McFadden and Standard, and the nearly 1/2-acre Mariposa Park at 6th and Lacey. Here is a park resource shown earlier in this presentation. The McFadden and Orange Park site became the Pacific Electric Park and was built in 2018. The 1.25 acres of park and community garden serves the Pacific Park, Cornerstone Village, Henninger Park, and Madison Park neighborhoods. Mariposa Park was completed in 2019 and now serves the residents of the Lacey neighborhood and other local residents. Finally, here's the design concept for the future park located at Rate and Myrtle Streets. In addition to evaluating data and known issues, the city reached out to dozens of residents and key stakeholders throughout Santa Ana over the past few years. This included the formation of a general plan advisory group, coordination through Communication Linkage Forum, and neighborhood associations in environmental justice areas, discussion with youth programs, outreach to members of the business community, and communication with community-based organizations and coalitions. Next, we will highlight some of the potential changes being proposed in the Santa Ana General Plan related to environmental justice and improving quality of life. Based on the recent analysis and community engagement, the city is considering changes to its goals, policies, and actions that will improve existing and future conditions for all of Santa Ana, with a focus on those in greatest need of help and protection. Consistent with our general plan's shared vision and core values, the potential changes will emphasize the following 6 approaches or topics. For policies related to reducing air pollution, the city wants to develop better strategies and support stronger regulations that will help reduce exposure to air pollution and hazardous materials. A potential action that could come from such policies is to coordinate with the Air Quality Management District and local stakeholders to pursue a priority community designation for eligible environmental justice areas of the city. This would allow for funding to help in creating an emission reduction plan for a neighborhood in need. For policies related to improving public facilities, the city wants to increase access to community health facilities, parks, community centers, and other public services and facilities, particularly in underserved areas. A potential action that could come from such policies is to conduct a community survey in 2021 and every 3 years thereafter. This survey would be related to community health, air quality concerns, and community service needs, with focused outreach to the environmental justice areas. For policies related to promoting healthy food, the city wants to improve the health and wellness of all residents through policies and programs that foster healthier food options. A potential action that could come from such policies is to identify neighborhoods with limited healthy food sources and encourage grocery stores, farmers markets, and community gardens to provide healthy food choices. For policies related to creating safe and sanitary housing, the city wants to reduce health hazards associated with construction material, building and operational standards, and deferred maintenance. A potential action that could come from such policies is to collaborate with residents and industry stakeholders to create an incentive and amortization program to relocate existing heavy industrial uses located next to sensitive uses, such as residents. For policies relating to increasing physical activity, the city wants to create new opportunities for indoor and outdoor recreation as part of a comprehensive network of space and facilities with a focus on underserviced areas. A potential action that would come from this policy is to complete a citywide parks and recreation master plan to identify strategies to provide additional parks and recreational activities. For policies related to enhancing civic engagement, the city wants to increase the amount and quality of community engagement through all stages of planning, development, and operation of our community and city. A potential action that could come from such policies is to create an environmental quality interagency team and website portal for vetting community concerns, sharing information, and supporting a forum to address air quality and other environmental hazard issues. These are just some examples of draft policies and potential actions. You may view a complete draft version of the proposed goals, policies, and implementation actions related to environmental justice on the city's website. Please visit www.santa-ana.org/general-plan/environmental-justice. The next steps involve virtual community outreach meetings on Friday, July 31st and Saturday, August 1st. These meetings will enable the community to hear and ask questions about major changes being proposed for the Santa Ana General Plan. We anticipate, following the completion and public review of a draft environmental impact report, the General Plan will be presented to the City Council for adoption later this year. If you would like more information or want to share your ideas, please visit the city's website at www.santa-ana.org/general-plan or contact the city by email at newgeneralplan@santa-ana.org. You may leave a phone message at 714-667-2781 with prompts in English, Spanish, and Vietnamese. Some of the resources available on the city's general plan website include fact sheets, links to interactive maps, and more detailed information on the data and analysis behind environmental justice in Santa Ana and throughout California. Thank you for listening and joining us to learn more about environmental justice in Santa Ana. Together, we look forward to continuing to build a path towards a healthier and more equitable Santa Ana.